Welcome back to another exciting episode of Prop Talk, the official podcast of PMG. How about that? I threw that in there.
There you go.
How are you, Mikey?
Yeah, how's it going?
Good. We're back for the second of the new year. And today we have a prop master in the chair who's actually been here before in episode number 2. Eugene McCarthy is back in the chair. We did the first one that he did, which was the Guns in Hollywood, the Rust post-mortem that we did with Larry Zanoff. And we didn't really have a chance to get into Eugene's career, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And, Eugene and I go back a little ways, too.
Oh, long time. long time.
So anyway, how are you, Eugene? Welcome.
I am doing very, very well. I'm glad to be back.
Yes, it's glad to have you back. Now, when you're officially retired now, yes?
Yes,
And
absolutely.
So how long have you been retired now?
I've been retired since not last September, but the previous September.
Okay.
My last day of work, though, was that Friday the 13th when the world slammed shut.
Wow.
I was a shopper for Phil Shea on Superstore.
Yeah, I see that on here. It says production staff.
Yeah. Not inaccurate.
You're a shopper for Phil Shea. Wow. How was that?
It was.
Did you know Phil? Well?
I did not.
Oh.
But I grew to know him very, very well.
Right.
And respect him
Amazing.
incredibly. He is the most complete prop master
Right.
I've ever even heard of.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. I mean, and as people know, I'm doing a show that he did the pilot on and working with the people he worked with for years. And I've never been in a position where I've had such a high bar to achieve with anybody, than I have had with Phil Shea.
He was a remarkable person.
Yeah, it's amazing. But I'm glad to have you back in the room. So that was your swan song was...
that was, well, I had been doing a true crime,
Right.
a Law and Order series about the Menendez brothers.
Ooh.
And we had gotten just a few days into it, and I left the show because the material was just so overwhelmingly hideous.
Yeah.
That I don't know, it was just a very... We did the last few days before we started shooting, we shot all of the crime scene photographs.
Oh, man.
And it was just awful. I mean, and we were in the set, and
Right.
there was blood splashed everywhere, and it was really, really terrible. And the last thing I did before leaving the show was to Stephen Jordan and I put together the murder board with all the little connecting things.
Right.
And that was just, I don't know, that was just it.
So was it the presentation, the reenactment of what happened, or was it the way they were portraying it that put you off to it?
It was just the subject matter.
Right.
It was just so hideous.
Yeah.
And also that was, at that same time, there were 2 other shows in production that had just been finished about that. It just, I don't know, it just overwhelmed me.
It's emotionally draining.
Just, yes.
Yeah. I hear you because it was real. I mean, I did a lot of procedurals in my career before I kind of transitioned into comedy just by chance. And once I got into comedy, I was like, wow, it's such a release of like,
Absolutely.
Because doing murder every episode, even though it was fake, just kind of like chipped away at your soul a little bit. Or at least that's how I felt about it. So I can only imagine in that situation, because that was such a horrific crime.
It was.
In every way.
And continues to be litigated.
And continues to be litigated, amazingly so. But it sells soap.
Yes. Thank goodness.
So anyway, Eugene, so tell us a little bit about where you're from and how you got started in the business and all that.
Yeah.
I grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Nice.
I went to college in San Antonio, Texas. And when I wanted to be a high school science teacher. I really, really enjoyed.
You looked the part.
I was just going to say that.
Well, thank you. I always enjoyed science and all of that, and really, really loved it. And so when I got to college, that's what I decided what I was going to do. And unfortunately, after my first semester, I failed both physics and calculus.
Wow.
So I thought, time for a reassessment. And
Forgot about all that math part.
I know. But I was I was really intending to go back and start over, but that next semester they didn't have the introductory courses.
I see.
Because you were supposed to have been successful in
Right.
that to get to the next step.
Right.
So I decided I needed to look for something else because the next semester the beginning courses weren't offered. Mm-hmm. So I went there, and Trinity University had a television studio.
Okay.
And I was looking around for some other path, and I walked into the studio, and this sounds ridiculous, but it's 100% true. I walked into the studio for the first time, and I felt like a drunk walking into a bar.
Wow.
I just immediately knew that was what I was going to do.
Wow, crazy. Because that was the first time you've ever been into a studio of any
Yes.
sort.
I mean, we made little movies and stuff in high school, but
Okay. Right.
but it really did. It just really,
Spoke to
the
you.
atmosphere in the studio just spoke to me. Yeah.
Right.
And so then I went from being a C and D and F student in physics and calculus and that to being the head teacher's assistant in the TV department.
Nice.
I fit very, very well with it.
That's fantastic. So, so did you get a degree?
Yes, I got a degree in I think it was called JRT, journalism,
Oh,
radio, and
I
television,
see. Right, this is
something
all
like that.
rolled into one. Mm-hmm. Wow.
But that just really whetted my appetite for doing that.
And so, did you do like all aspects of production while you were?
You learned all of
Right.
it, and there were we would do little test shows and things, and everybody would rotate around so that you got to be the sound person and the video editor and all of those things, and just get a little taste of them.
And so you were shooting everything on video.
Yes,
Yeah.
on the 4-inch tape.
Right. Right.
That was the good old days.
The good old days. I know. I remember.
So I really, really enjoyed it and got out with my degree and started looking around in San Antonio, Texas. And the first job I got was making used car commercials.
Okay.
Oh, really?
That's awesome.
Like those grainy commercials?
Yes. And it was really awful. But at the same time, it was doing something that I enjoyed doing, so I kept learning how things worked. And
Yeah.
In San Antonio, you said?
in San Antonio, yeah.
Right. Wow.
And then I heard this guy who was in San Antonio. He was a equipment rental person for movies and video and so forth. And he called me one day because I had always been looking for something better to do.
Right.
And he said, there's this show that's going to be shooting for a week in San Antonio and 3 weeks in Houston. I don't know anything about it. I don't know the name of it. I don't know who's involved in it. All I know is this phone number.
Wow.
And so I called and I said, hello, my name is Eugene McCarthy, and I hear you guys are doing this show, and I'd really, really want to work on it. And I was thinking of that I would be a PA or something. I don't know that I was aware there was such a thing as a property master.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
And so I said, I really want to work on this movie. And they said, we won't be hiring anybody for 2 or 3 weeks, so call back in a couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay. And the next day I called back.
Nice.
And I said, hi there, my name is Eugene McCarthy, and I really want to work on this movie. And she said, are you the guy that called yesterday? And I said, yes, I am. And I still want to work on this movie. And she said, well, like I said, call back in a few weeks.
Yeah.
And I called back the next day. And this went on for 5 days. And she was very, very, Janice Strong was her name. She was the production coordinator. I came to find out.
Right.
And so eventually I figured out that the show was going to be, it was going to be a week in San Antonio and then 3 weeks in Houston. And so that next weekend, my sister lived in Houston. And so I went the next weekend to Houston. Somehow, I don't remember how I did it, but I found out where the production office was.
Nice.
And I walked in and they said, can I help you? And I said, yeah, I'm Eugene McCarthy and I want to work on this movie. And she said, you've got to stop. Really. This is
Get a
not,
restraining order.
yeah, I mean, this is not helping your cause, and so I'm like, okay, well, what am I going to do? And so I started to leave, and I kind of didn't hide, but I made myself inconspicuous in the office. And all of a sudden, this guy comes into the office, and he said, we got a problem. Linda, the producer, I found out later, she's not coming in tomorrow. She's coming in tonight. We got to get a hold of a Teamster to go pick her up and all this stuff. And me being being me and having nothing to lose, I said, I'll go pick her up. And the guy looked at me and he said, who are you? And Janice says, that's the guy that keeps calling. And the guy said, you got to stop calling and stop bugging us. It's not going to work.
Okay.
And all this stuff. And tried, okay. So I went back at some point later when they were coming to San Antonio to begin filming.
Okay.
And somehow, I don't know how, I found out the hotel that they were going to be staying in and where the production offices were going to be. And I found out when they were coming. And so when they all arrived to start the San Antonio version of the segment of the show,
Right.
I was sitting in the lobby. And the guy who I now know is the production manager, walked in and he goes, what are you doing here? And I said, my name is Eugene McCarthy and I really want to work on this movie. And he said, come with me. And so we walked back and sat in his office. He goes, I'll tell you what, if you want to be craft service, I'll let you be craft service. And I said, okay, I'll do it. And he said, all right, and it's $100 a day. There's no overtime. There's no nothing. You get no rentals. And I'm like, rentals? What the
rentals?
Yeah.
And so he said, you can be the craft service guy. And so I leave and I walk out into the lobby. I'm super excited. I see the first person I saw. And I said, what the hell is craft service? Luckily for me, the person was Trisha Gallagher Glenn.
Wow. Wow.
I know.
Amazing.
Unbelievable. And so, but of course I didn't know. I don't know that I even got her name at that point. But I later found out that was her. And so, and she said, it's coffee and donuts. And I said, oh, I can do that.
Right.
And so I went and bought a cooler and, did all this stuff. And I bought all the equipment.
I was going to say, wow.
Well,
they didn't give you anything.
They didn't give me nothing. They gave me the job.
Right. There you go.
And so...
And you ran with it.
Mm-hmm. And so he said, so we started and everything went pretty well and everything. But he had told me, it's going to be San Antonio only. You're not going to Houston. And after 2 days, I went up to him. I said, am I doing this right? And he goes, you're doing great. He goes, if you can know anybody that lives in Houston and can stay with him, you can come and finish the show.
Ah, your sister.
I'm like, oh, my God, this is great. I know. So I show up, and I forgot it was Mickey Rooney was the
star?
lead. Yes, he was Bill.
Nice. He's a good guy.
And I'm thinking,
Oh, maybe not.
no, he was totally fine with me, but
Okay.
Let's see. So we start doing the show,
Right.
and I go up to Goldman and I say, am I doing this right? And he goes, yes. And you're going to Houston if you know anybody. And I said, I do. I know somebody. So we finished the week. We went to Houston. We're doing the show and we're shooting in this old closed down school. There was supposed to be a college that Bill worked in a coffee shop at. I bill his character as a intellectually challenged person.
I see.
And so we worked another week or two, and I said to Goldman, am I still doing okay? And he goes, you're doing great, and we're doing another movie right after this, and you're doing it.
Nice.
And I said, man, okay, great. And that movie was Adam with Daniel Travanti that started the whole missing children thing.
Wow.
I know, it was remarkable. And so I'm leaving out a part here.
Did the second movie, were you craft service on that one too?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I loved it. I knew what I was doing at that point, so I didn't want to switch jobs.
And did they give you a budget?
Or a rental?
There was
Renting your cooler?
Definitely no rental. But no, they gave me a petty cash float, which I was like, what is that?
Right.
I didn't have any idea. So, we're on the last day of this show, of the Mickey Rooney one, and I'm going around sweeping up in the school, and I walk by this classroom, and there's Mickey Rooney sitting in the classroom reading the newspaper.
Okay.
And I think, well, I got nothing to lose.
Right.
I walk in. I said, hello, Mr. Rooney. How are you? My name's Eugene McCarthy. and I go, and this was the first show I've ever done. And it was just a real pleasure meeting you and, like that. And he goes, this is your first show? And I said, yeah. And he goes, you've never done this before? And I said, no, sir. I have no idea. I've been on this for 6 days.
Right.
I didn't know what I was doing. And he said, I'll tell you what, kid, if this is what you want to do, he said, listen, kid. I mean, it was like out of a movie.
Right.
And he says, if this is what you want to do, throw yourself into it and bust your butt and do all this stuff, and you will have the most incredible life.
Wow.
You will travel all over the world. You'll meet all the biggest directors and actors and all of this stuff, and you're going to be a part of the best business in the world. And just this incredible pep talk.
Nice.
And so I leave, and I was like, oh, my goodness. And every single thing he said came true.
Wow. Amazing.
It was.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
That was weird.
You were blessed by Mickey Rooney.
I know.
Your career, that's pretty good.
Exactly. So.
At least he didn't tell you to run for the door.
Well, I know. Well, which he could have. I guess.
Exactly.
There was a friend of mine. I told him this story, and he was getting into show business at the same time I was, and so he was at Warner Brothers doing something, and he was in the cafeteria and getting lunch, and he looks over and he sees Billy Barty.
Okay.
You know who Billy Barty is?
I know that name. I can't
He was
remember.
a little person who was in just tons and tons and tons of shows.
I see.
And he was kind of this irascible guy.
Uh-huh.
And so he goes and my friend sees him eating lunch, and he goes over and he goes, excuse me, Mr. Barty, do you think I could sit and eat lunch with you? And Billy Barty looks at him and says, get the fuck away from me.
And what happened to his career?
No, that was kind of the portent of his career. But no, not really. He's grown up to be a big TV producer.
Oh,
all
good.
kinds of things. But
That's funny.
so, and then we finished this show, the Bill show, and then went and did another show in Houston that was about Adam, with Daniel Travanti.
Right.
And it was all about the start of the missing children. Not started, but put a huge spotlight on missing children and
It's like
that.
the like the milk.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's in that same
What am I talking
era.
about? Right. I see. Interesting.
And so so then that show was done, and so I go to my friend Don Goldman, and I say, so, the word was kind of buzzing around the set that he had a big feature coming up. And I'm like, hey, what do you think? Can I go on this feature? And he said, no.
Huh.
No way.
Wow.
Not going to happen. And I said, okay, fine.
And he called it the next day.
Yeah, effectively.
Okay.
No, he didn't call me the next day, but he did call me. And the movie was Firestarter with 8-year-old Drew Barrymore.
Oh wow.
And it was a big.
That's a big movie.
And especially since that was before there was no such thing as visual effects.
Right.
And so all of that fire was all real.
Right,
and
practical.
It was really incredible. It was a giant show. I mean, the production itself was just enormous. And so he told me, no, this is not going to work. I can't bring a craft service guy to North Carolina.
Right.
They'll never let me do that.
Sure.
So good luck. And he leaves, and he goes to do the show. 3 weeks later, he calls me, and I'm sitting in my apartment in San Antonio. And he goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "I'm just sitting here in my apartment in San Antonio." And he said, "How soon can you be in Wilmington?"
Wow. Wow.
And I said, "Well, I don't know. I've been living in this apartment for 6 years, and I don't know. It's going to take me a while." And he said, "Get here as soon as you can."
How old were you at this time?
At this time, I was maybe 22,
Okay.
21,
Yeah.
22.
Right.
And I took all of the stuff in my apartment and shoved it into a rental storage place and hopped in my car and drove to North Carolina.
Wow.
And
Nice.
it was great. And then when I got there, he, in fact, did have housing and per diem for me.
Wow.
All of this stuff. I know I had a condo on the beach and per diem. I had no idea what was
In
going
what
on.
capacity did you get hired as?
Crafty.
Wow.
Yeah.
What the hell? What happened in North
Did the main
Carolina?
guy, they fired the main person they hired, or
No.
didn't? What?
They were looking for a craft service person, and he said, "I'll get this guy
Wow.
I know a guy who's a craft service guy." At that point, after 2 shows, I was a craft service guy.
That's right.
Yeah.
I wasn't
Day
aspiring.
2, you're a craft service guy.
I know. And so we did that show, and it was incredible, just giant, huge, enormous movie in Wilmington, North Carolina.
Right.
And then that finished, and he had another show. I went back to L.A. And then at that point, I thought, this is what I'm going to do.
Right.
And so I moved to L.A.
Wow.
and got an apartment. I had some friends from high school that lived in L.A.
Mm-hmm.
And they showed me around and looked around and found an apartment, and it was very nice and all this stuff. And on the first night that I got there, I called Tricia Gallagher Glenn
Wow.
to say hi. How are you?
Right.
I moved to L.A.
Nice.
And she said, "Are you working?" And I said, "No, I just got here today." And she goes, "Cool. Be at my house at 7:00 in the morning. Do you know how to drive a 5-ton?"
Wow.
And I said, "Yes, I do," which I did not.
I was going to say, wow.
But I went there, and I bought a Thomas guide.
Nice.
I did not know where anything was at all. And she goes, "Here's this stuff. You need to go pick up this stuff. It's at a bunch of different places." And she gives me a legal pad that is completely full of pickups.
Wow.
And so I get in the 5-ton, and I'm driving around and trying.
In L.A.
Yeah, with my Thomas guide. And doing U-turns in Beverly Hills and all kinds of stuff. But I got everything done.
Nice.
And it was for a great big commercial for the what's it called? The Grand Prix in Long Beach.
Okay.
Something like that.
Huh.
And I think I worked on those commercials as well, and then did all the returns and everything. And I don't know. I just did it, everything just from then on. I was just working and working and working.
And was the Trish who was getting you the work after that?
No, the first thing I did was I heard about this movie called Hamburger, the motion picture. Oh my God. Brought to you by the same man, I can't remember his name, the writer who also did Hot Dog, the movie. And there was another food.
Chicken Wing, the movie.
Six-pack.
Six-pack.
So
movie.
it was a burger and a hot dog and a six-pack.
Wow.
And so I did, let's see, I guess I did that, the hamburger movie, and that was pretty hideous, but it was, I don't know, it was another something that I had done.
Right.
And then my friend Goldman called me again to do a Western he was doing with Melissa Gilbert called Sylvester.
Okay.
And Vic Petrata was the prop master.
Wow. Wow.
And so Golden calls and tells me to come and do this movie. And I said, I'm going to be craft service again, right? Because I knew how to do it at this point. And he goes, no, I'm going to make you a PA for the prop department.
Ah, there it is.
And I don't know.
There's the end. And was it on the East Coast?
No, it was in Texas.
Oh, okay.
And so I did that and learned lots and lots of stuff from him and Mike Gannon.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, I was the 12th broom.
I'm sure.
And so I just kind of tried to stay out of everybody's way and pay attention to what was going on.
Right.
And then they did another show, this same guy Goldman, and another one with Vic called Just One of the Guys.
Now, were these union movies?
Yes, but Texas is a right to work state.
Right, it is.
And then in the Just One of the Guys was in Phoenix, and I got into the local there.
I see.
And like I say, I at this point I lived in L.A. and I found, I don't know, I just managed to find work everywhere.
Yeah.
I was, and was very, very happy to do it.
And so then after you were prop PA, then you started doing more prop work?
I did. I got a job on a guy that was a location manager that I knew called and said, what are you doing? And I said, no, I'm looking for a job. And he said, there's this show, and it was Shelley Duvall's Fairy Tale Theater.
Wow.
And this was a series called Tall Tales and Legends.
Okay.
And this one was, the first one I did was Wild Bill Hickok.
Okay. Well, all right.
And so this guy, Wally, who was the location manager, said they need a art department person for one day. It's only going to be one day.
Right.
Don't think it's going to be more. I'm like, that's fine. I'll take it. So I showed up at the location at Will Rogers State Beach, or Park. Right. And they were, they were building the Wild Bill Hickok show and all of this stuff. And I got there and there was, and everybody kept telling me, I kept hearing people talk about this person, Jane. And, they're like, oh, look at that. Jane is not going to like that. We got to change that, and then, Jane will love that, and Jane this and Jane that. And I'm like, who the hell is Jane? And they said, she's the art director, but she's out sick today. You'll meet her tomorrow. And I said, no, I won't. I'm on for one day only. Right. And they're like, okay, well, so long. And I'm working on this teepee, and I'm putting up this. There's a big bunch of rope, and I was wrapping it around the stake. Right. Just because it was a big mess. Sure. And all of a sudden, there's a voice behind me. Says, "Who did that?" And I said, "I did." And he goes, "That's great. That's good thinking. Are you working tomorrow?" Nice. And I said, "Sure." And I worked for him for 5 years. For Fairy Tale Theater.
Wow. Wow. Just like that.
It is. I mean, my whole career has been like that. Just I've always managed to just be kind of at the right place at the right time.
And doing the right thing. Mm-hmm. That's the key.
Yeah.
People notice it, and then, because again, as we always talk about, a lot of people want to do it. Not a lot of people can do it and have the right aptitude for it. Yeah. And when you see somebody who does and who has it, you keep them.
Mm-hmm. And I learned a lot from my mother. She was a junker and an antique collector and stuff, so I learned a love of objects from her.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Yeah.
Because I'm just fascinated by objects and that just how they come to be and how common they are and yet how unusual they are. And
the application. So is that kind of what you feel motivated you to props, was because of the objects that props are?
Yes. I mean, I've always just had a love of objects, and my mother taught me to be a collector and stuff. And so, my threshold for a complete collection is 100.
Wow.
I had
of anything.
I had 100 vintage flashlights.
Oh,
Right.
wow.
And and I don't know where I came up with 100, but it's so interesting because they are exactly the same thing, but they're completely different.
Right. They have the same function. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fun.
100 doesn't always fit in a single bin. I've
It
come
does-
to realize.
it does not.
At least you're not collecting cars, right?
Luckily, I have a garage that is, to my wife's dismay, is packed to the ceiling with all of my
Oh, yeah.
things that
Stuff.
I can't give up.
I know, right? That's always an issue. So, what was the catalyst for you wanting to realize that props is what you wanted to do?
It was what was available to me.
Right.
You know, I mean, like I
Sure.
I would have been a craft service guy for the rest of my life if I hadn't, if I hadn't,
Right.
gotten the experience of property.
Right. But there was was there something about it though that made you realize that this is the cool thing that I want to do?
Oh yeah, and that was
mean-
just again my mother
Right.
infusing me with this love of objects. That I just really just I don't know, I just really appreciate it. I was always from when I was a little kid, I was just interested in things like that. Like
Right.
I was the kid who was looking down the manhole when the guys were
Right. See what's
redoing the
going
scene.
on.
What are you doing over there? And what's that thing? And
Right.
so it just felt very organic for me
Sure.
to be in that.
Well, was there some point where you made a connection between props and storytelling or character development?
I have had several opportunities in my career to make. I mean, a lot of what we do is common things. It's these
Sure.
microphones and
Right.
this notebook and the gun and all of these different things. But there are other times when it is really that one of the most satisfying things I've ever did was when I did Meet the Fockers. And it was great.
The memory.
That was my first. That was my first interaction with Bob De Niro. Was strapping that on him, and I somewhere I have a great photograph of me strapping it onto him.
Oh my God, I would love to see that.
And Barbara Streisand was in that as well, which was another remarkable
Streisand.
just
Yeah.
person. Just I mean, I've always felt that I was just so fortunate to be in this business with these people that are just startlingly talented,
Right.
and to just be in the room with them, And one of my favorite props I've ever done was in Meet the Fockers. There was this scene with Barbara Streisand, and she's got this big book
Right.
that is Ben Stiller's life book.
Oh, yeah.
And he memorably, one of the things in the book was his foreskin.
Yeah.
It was just so
Yeah.
funny. It was just such a funny thing to make that I had to make this big book
Yes.
with all of this stuff in it and everything because they're flipping through it and looking through it and all this stuff. And so I had gone home to see my parents, and there was my mother was hollering at me to get all of my, after I had left home years previously, and there was
Right.
still a closet full of all my crap.
Right.
And so I grabbed this one box that was all of my artwork from my whole life.
Wow.
From kindergarten,
Right.
all the little things
Sure.
made out of macaroni
Yep.
and
Yeah.
yarn and all this stuff. And so I took that and brought it back to LA.
Nice.
And I thought, oh, this will be great. So I'll put all this in this book.
Oh, sweet.
It was great. And
Yeah.
I made I met this artist, and she made the book for me. And with just the way she connected things were great and all stuff, but it was all
Your
the
stuff.
the real stuff from my childhood.
But
And-
not your foreskin.
No, and I made that. This was great. I don't remember how I determined to do it this way. I took This is all true.
I believe it.
I took a Sharpie
Okay.
and I stuck it in some rubber cement and pulled it out. And then the rubber cement dried and I
Pulled
pulled
off.
it off and rolled it up and dyed it green.
And there you have it.
And I just happened to hear somebody on the television or on the radio about she had some weird thing of one of her children that she had saved. Oh, her child's umbilical cord.
Right.
Right.
And she talked about it, how it was so weird to have this thing, and she talked about how it had turned green.
Yeah.
And so I made the thing, Ben Stiller's foreskin green.
Nice.
But anyway, the best part of that, from my point of view, was on the day that we were shooting that scene. And so I found this artist to build the book. And she was just really, really interesting person. And we decided that there ought to be, there was a reference in the script about all of his childhood teeth,
Right.
and all of this
Right.
stuff. And so I went to the makeup lady, Kate Biscoe, and I said, "Where do I get good fake teeth?" And she said, "Oh, I've got all of my baby teeth from when I was a little kid."
I think the whole
And I
crew's
was,
in
"You
the
gotta
book.
be kidding me!" And so she gave me the teeth, and we put them in the thing, and they shot it, and they took it out. And so Barbara Streisand and Blythe Danner are sitting there looking at this book.
Uh-huh.
Sorry. Flipping through the book.
Right.
And all of a sudden, I hear Streisand go, "What the hell is this thing?" And I went in and I said, "This is the book,
book.
that's in the script and all this stuff." And she goes, "No, but where did all this come from?" And I said, "Well."
And you told her the story.
Yeah.
It was great. She was wonderful, by the way.
I'm sure.
She was a tremendous
Those
person to work with.
Yeah, those are always my favorite props, is when I have to do a photo album or a scrapbook or a box of memorabilia, because it's all character.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could have, like on American Pie, I had to do the sex manual book. And that book is sitting on Chris White's or Paul White's coffee table, I think, at home now. But I have pictures of my mother in there. My wife is in there.
Oh, wow.
All this other stuff that we came up with. But yeah, it's great.
It is. It's just such a... it just makes it so much more authentic.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I was just gonna say. It's like that book is authentically yours too.
Right.
Yeah, and it's a little piece of you every time you wash it, I guess.
And I think people appreciate that. I did I've worked with two directors that both of them, well, I've worked with a bunch of directors, but there are two, for purposes of this discussion, were saying, talking to me about props and about the authenticity of props. And one of them, this is going to sound like I'm name dropping.
Go for it.
I will. Francis Coppola.
Yeah. Rainmaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said, we were shooting this scene, and I don't know if you remember the movie,
Yeah, I did reshoots on that
oh, okay.
for Howard Cummings.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
And so he had a kid when there was a young man in the show who was dying of leukemia.
Right.
And when Francis was a child, he had some, I don't know what it was. It wasn't leukemia or anything, but he had some chronic disease that kept him in bed for an extraordinarily long period of time.
Wow.
And so we're about to shoot this scene, and the AD comes to me and he goes, "Francis wants a doll." And I said, "What?" And he said,
I wasn't in the script.
"Francis wants a doll." And it was because when he was stuck in bed,
Right.
his uncle or somebody brought him a ventriloquist dummy,
Interesting.
and he played with it and stuff and kind of did
Kept him sane.
And so he wanted to put that in the show. It's not in the script or
Right,
anything
right.
anywhere, but he wanted to have it. So I'm like, we were in Memphis. I
Yeah.
didn't know where to go, but I took my local third broom and said, "Go get a ventriloquist dummy."
Oh, he wanted the actual ventriloquist dummy, not just a doll.
No, it was the AD who put the doll word in there.
I see.
But no, he had, and Francis might have said doll.
Right. But what he meant...
I was thinking was a doll.
Yeah.
When I heard that.
Of course.
So my assistant was out shopping for something else, and I called her, and I said, I need to get a ventriloquist dummy. And she goes, when do you need it? And I said, now. And she goes, oh, my God, you're not going to believe this. I'm driving by the magic store right now, and there's one in the window.
You are
she
blessed.
Screeches to a halt and goes out and gets the dummy.
Wow.
Buys the dummy, puts it in the car, drives back. I'm standing in front of the house, in front of the location, and she comes driving by, and she's got this ventriloquist dummy hanging.
Pass through the window. We've done that before.
Window.
Right?
Exactly. And I grab it, and I go, but it was brand spanking new.
Right.
So I wrapped a rag around its head and did some streaks and tips on it. And I was trying to, let it dry.
Right. It's really smelly.
This isn't going to be terrible and all this stuff. And I went up. John Toll was the DP. Who is, I don't know if you ever worked with him.
No.
He is just a gem of a human.
Nice.
And I went up and I go, John, how much time do we have? And he goes, how much time do you need? And I go, I need 15 minutes. And he goes, no worries. And he vamped and,
right.
because
tweaked
nobody's
some
gonna
flags.
go.
And, that was nice of him.
Yeah, he was. He was a great guy. We had a really, really interesting conversation about paper. In that show, because in Rainmaker, there's all these documents.
Yes.
Tons and tons and tons of documents.
Yes.
And so I went to John and I said, what do you think? Should we take it, obviously it wants to be off-white, but do you want it to off-white toward tan or off-white toward gray or,
right.
Whatever. And, so he goes, well, go get us some samples and let's have a chalk. And so I go in and we've got these pieces like, oh, that's good. This would be great for that. And,
wow.
And just kind of talking about it. And at that point, the line producer came by, and John said, "I'm in a meeting right now with the prop master," and I'm like, oh, "Okay."
Wow.
And so she left, and 30 minutes later, she came back by, and we were still looking at these papers and trying, turning the lights on and turning the lights off and holding the sunlight and all this stuff. And so she comes back by and she goes, "Are you still talking about paper?" And he goes, "Yes, we are." And she goes, "Well, I guess I'll let it slide since you have an Academy Award." And started to walk off. And he called her back in and he said, "I have 2." And it was he was a
brilliant.
wonderful, wonderful man.
That's funny.
And that's the thing that I find is in the people in show business we are all of the same affliction.
Yep. 100%.
And because also I think people who are unpleasant don't get hired much or something. I don't know.
After a while, no. No matter how good you are. That's funny. Well, an addendum to that story, when I got hired to do the pickups, inserts on that, one of the ones is there's that famous part of the movie where the kid has to sign the paper and his nose starts bleeding.
Yep.
So I had to do the blood drop from above on the document. So I had 50 copies of this thing made. Okay, and we were in there, and I was up above with the camera with the eyedropper dropping it on the page, and Francis was there, and we shot over and over and over. And we went through all 50 copies of it. And then he goes, "Is that it?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "But I can go make more." And he goes, "No, we're good. We're moving on." I'm like, "Okay, great." And so I turned to, I don't know if it was Howard or somebody else. He said, "Do you think we're done? I mean, does he want more?" He goes, "Oh, no, if he wanted more, you'd be making more." He said, "But if you give him 50, he's going to shoot off 50.
Yeah,
like, exactly.
I'm like, okay. So that was cool. And then the other thing about it that was interesting, what you're saying, is that there was a scene where the mother, somebody was getting some flowers. So he had me get flowers. So I showed him a couple of different bouquets of flowers. He goes, "Okay, this one." He picks the one. I'm like, "Okay, great." He goes, "But I don't want her to see it until we roll camera." I'm like, "Oh, that's interesting." That's because he's so involved in the props and what it means to the character, and
Absolutely.
I
It's like
appreciate that.
he, when we were doing my part of it, he wanted all of the actors to spend the night in their set.
Nice.
Really, really interesting. So I had to go around to all these actors and see what they wanted to be doing.
Right.
And like Mary Kay Place, who is a wonderful, wonderful person, and she's from Tulsa, Oklahoma, like I am.
Nice.
And she said, I want to cook. I want to cook dinner for myself.
Nice.
And so I went out and bought her pots and pans and all this stuff. And it was Francis had this big deal about wanting people to live in, to spend the night in their place. And that's what he said, that was the problem with, what was the picture he did that was all on a stage about Vegas?
Oh, Zotra. Wait, no. What was it called? One from the Heart.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he said that's what the thing that he didn't like about that was it was all on a stage, and so there wasn't a home,
Right.
in it, which I thought was really very, very interesting.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and that's again the beauty of features compared to television. Because I've been doing so much TV now, and it's just like it just gets lost. Because you're jamming so hard to get stuff done and get it done quickly, and everybody wants that magic. But you don't know, you can't always get it when you don't have the time to do it right. And I feel bad for actors.
Oh, absolutely.
Because what they have to do, the performance that they have to give under the conditions sometimes of the maddening schedule of television is like beyond me. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah, on the movie that I just finished, before we started shooting, they had a couple nights where they had all the actors and I had to get props and like stuff before we started shooting because they wanted to have like a dinner and a movie night in the house with the actors and the family to get them like into the character and bonding together.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna need some popcorn, we're gonna need some of this, we need to make sure like the TV's all set up and does all that stuff. So it's like, okay, sounds good.
I think that is invaluable. I mean, well, what I've learned to not ever question why you're doing something. We're doing it because they want it done that way.
Yeah,
Right.
totally.
And that's not like it's, if it doesn't work, it's on you. But it's whatever. They don't have to explain why they want something.
No.
I don't think.
I don't think they have to explain it, but it definitely helps when you see the result of what that is. Because conversely, I've just had this happen to me this week where they wanted to do this scene of this guy, and I don't want to give away anything other than he had to walk. He was coming off the golf course, and he had to walk past a bunch of photographers, the media, to get to the locker room. And he hadn't been doing well, and so he just needed to get to the locker room, and and his mom was chasing him down or whatever. So they had scripted, and they put on the schedule that they wanted 50 media there. And I had 5 video cameras and 30 still cameras and these influencer cameras and microphones with the bugs on them, the whole 9 yards. It was a $15,000 rental to do all that. Yeah, because it was so much stuff and everything's so expensive now. I looked at the dailies and they put the camera where the media was. And so they had him walking by, and it was like all these fans that were lined up on the other side of where he was walking. In the side where all the media was, all you saw were the flashes on his face, and at the end you saw 3 cameras, and he was gone. It's like, how in the hell, and I just wanted to go to the producers and say, I just spent $15,000 on this, and why wouldn't you shoot that? I don't understand. It's like, it wasn't like they weren't there.
Yeah.
They were all there. How can you not want to shoot that? It was like demoralizing, and it was Friday, thank God, so I just went home. Seriously, it was. Because again, I'm happy to do whatever it takes to help that film, be better. But then when you see all that effort and all that money, and then they don't even shoot it, it's like
that happens in every show in some aspect. I feel like it's like how many times I say to my assistant, "Well, that's all right. It was just $10,000 down the drain. That's we'll just move on. It's not my money."
No. As long as you apprise them.
Yeah.
I
gave them what they wanted. Yeah.
But for me, it's like, again, one of the other frustrating things for me being in television is that you can't be there because you're prepping
Right.
something else. And it's like, if I was there, they would have shot those freaking cameras. I can tell you that right now, because it's like, what's the reason not? I just don't
Right.
understand. Why wouldn't you want that?
Yeah.
But I understand, because I see it. They're chasing us the time. They too much to do in a day. They set up these shots, and then they're rushing all the time to get these shots done. And it's like, I just don't appreciate that, especially in my older years. I don't appreciate that about television. A lot about TV now is that they're not taking the time to get the best, to do the best that they can do. I don't know. It makes me nuts.
Yeah, no, it is. It's just so refreshing or so valuable when you see people going this extra mile and being able to take the time and
Right.
it really does like finding the right color of paper.
Yes.
And it's all that. I mean, all we do is minutia.
Right. Absolutely. And again, like I go through this with my wife all the time too, where she'll say, "Oh, well, they don't see that. They're not going to notice that." And it's like, you might not notice it consciously, but subconsciously, I think people notice it. And I think that's sometimes the difference between whether something is good or great. It's those small things. And it may, a lot of times it's just lighting. But I mean, that's the most obvious thing to me is lighting and performance, but it could be subtle things too. Like, again, and I've said this 1,000 times, so give me a break. But if you see a glass and all the ice is sitting at the bottom of the glass, nobody has noticed it, but I'm sorry, but there's nothing tactile about it. It's not clinking in the glass. I think it takes you out of it.
That's another, just putting things in the mood sort of is, I don't remember what show this was. I think it was reshoots on something I was doing, and there was we were shooting at Universal on the Europe Street, and there was this actor he's had to walk by and had interacted with somebody, and he had he was supposed to be, and they were supposed to be in France, and he said, "Do you have any French money, any French francs?" And I said, "No, why?" And he said, "Well, because I'd like to have that in my pocket."
Yeah.
And I sent somebody out. There was a stamp store close by, and went and got some French francs for him and gave them to him.
Nice.
And he was just so thankful that we had not just said that's stupid.
Right.
I mean, if he thinks it works, then it works.
Absolutely. I mean, again, far be it from me to know what it takes to be in front of the camera, because I couldn't do it.
No.
Seriously. I mean, I have so much respect for actors. I mean, that's a lot.
Although I am I'm a SAG must join for that great epic Kazam.
Yes, I saw that.
Oh.
You were, what were TV repair guy? What were you?
No, I was kitchen worker number 2.
Kitchen worker.
Nice.
Excellent.
Me and Jeff Johnson.
Jeff Johnson. Oh, this together? Oh my! I'm gonna need a still of that.
Wait, which number was he?
He was number 1.
He was number 1.
No, Jeff and I worked together forever and ever and ever.
Wow. Okay.
We did tons of shows.
As prop people, or I mean,
Yes,
did you work for
he was
him?
my
Or you worked
assistant.
for, oh, okay, great. Nice.
Before he became the
powerhouse
the
that
high
he is.
sheriff.
Yes.
I am just so incredibly proud of him. He's
amazing.
He is a remarkable character.
Yep.
And a character he is.
As we know, is a president of the guild. For real.
Exactly.
I loved that movie when I was younger. Yeah.
That was Shaq, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was, and he was a very, very funny man. There was
Really?
I don't know if you remember, there was this big bicycle we had to make for him to ride it.
Okay.
And
I'll say.
at some point they said there was supposed to be a little bike that made him look even bigger. And it's
I
well,
see.
you don't have to make him look bigger.
Yeah.
Right,
He's
he's
bigger
a
than anyone you've
huge
ever known.
person.
But I went and got a whole bunch of bikes, and I got one. It was one of those ones that I mean, it was for like a 4-year-old. And I thought I was going to bring it just to taunt him. To say,
Right.
He got on that thing and zoomed down the hallway of
Really?
the production office. He goes, "Oh, man, I used to ride these all the time when I was a kid." And I'm like, "God, he's going to crush it." And he jumped on it and It was unbelievable. He would go all the way to the end of the hallway.
Wow. Did they use that in the?
No,
But
it was too small.
too
You
funny,
couldn't
though.
see it.
That's hysterical.
But he was a lovely, lovely man. Very, really, really funny guy.
I love that.
And 12 years old, basically.
And he was 12. And he was playing a 12-year-old.
No, he was acted like a
Oh,
12-year-old.
acted
Yeah,
like a
definitely acted like a 12-year-old.
No, he really was. So he was lovely. I could count on one hand the people that were just difficult, terrible.
Yeah, I
Pains.
agree. Most people that I've worked with have been good decent people.
Mm-hmm.
How was Michael Myers?
Mr. Myers.
Yes. Let's talk about Austin Powers.
He
Yeah.
was wonderful. I went and saw that movie when the first one, International Man of Mystery.
Right.
I lived in Pasadena at the time, and I saw an ad for the movie, and I thought, what is this? And so I went and saw it. I had no idea what it was,
Wow.
no clue.
Right.
And I saw it, and I was just gobsmacked.
Mm-hmm.
And Bruce Mink did that show.
Right. He did. Incomparable Bruce
And
Mink.
it was just, I just could not believe that you could make a movie like that. I mean, all of the gags
crazy.
and just everything constantly. And it was just, I don't know, it just blew me away, that movie.
Yeah.
And then some amount of time later, I don't know, well, it must have been at least a year, I guess. This friend of mine, Eric McLeod, who I did a number of shows with, he's a producer, and he called me one time and he said, I'm doing this show and I want you to come in and talk to him. I said, great. And I went down there and it was Mike.
Wow.
And no exaggeration, when we touched, I stuck up my hand to shake his hand and we touched, there literally was
A shock.
Yes.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, that's weird. But no, I did 3 movies with Mike.
Really?
Right.
Yeah, I did Austin 2, Austin 3, Love Guru.
Oh, right.
Love Guru.
He has called me for a number of other shows that I was just not.
Available for.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm. But he's a wonderful, wonderful man.
Nice.
I got along with him really, really well. And he was very, very appreciative for all of the stuff we did for him. And
He's amazing.
And I got more actionable intelligence from him than anybody I've ever seen in the film industry. I would typically, I would meet with him at least once a day in his trailer, and there would be something where he was going to do a spit take.
Okay.
And so he'd go, okay, I want a glass, no stem, 6 ounces.
Sure. Uh-huh.
I mean, and then I would go and get all of that and show it to him, like, oh, I'm sorry, it needs to be a little bit taller.
Okay.
And I mean, but he's
working it out.
Really appreciate, absolutely.
Yeah.
And because his stuff is so physical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could just see him. He'd set this glass down and pick it up and do it over and over and over, and then finally, I don't know. He was really, really interesting.
Yeah, the method is really amazing.
I really enjoyed working with him.
Were those scripts something that they stay fairly locked, or were they changing all the time?
Oh,
Yeah.
changing all
They
the
were
time.
changing. Yeah,
Was he
absolutely.
ad-libbing all the time as well?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I'm sure.
and that was where the funniest stuff always
Yeah,
came
so
from.
the little pinky thing, did that? Mm-hmm. Did he just come up with that? Or
I don't know. That was from the first one,
right.
which I didn't do.
Oh, so, yeah.
I did second.
Right.
I did 2 and 3.
So did did any of the props from the first movie come over to the sequels?
Oh yeah,
Like all his personal stuff, like his ring and stuff, all that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there was a great thing, which was the glove compartment thing in the car that you would open it up and the
Right.
little thing would come out.
Yeah. You had to build that.
No, that was already
That was already there.
that was Bruce. Bruce had done that.
Well,
But yeah, he is a nightmare and a complete blessing at the same time. I mean, no, he just comes up with weird stuff, and
Well-
he's really, really specific. But he
Right.
is incredibly appreciative.
dude, I say it all the time. I'd rather have somebody who's incredibly detailed about what they want than somebody who doesn't know what they want, and you're just constantly putting stuff in front of them and it's not right. Okay, because that's how Quentin was too, and it's like, but you know exactly what to get because they're telling you what they want. You know, so I can appreciate it, especially if it's works.
And when Mike would have figured out what he wanted in something, when I brought him that thing, he would say, "That's me. I'm sorry, that's my fault. I shouldn't have told you to do it that way."
Well, that's all you need, right?
But I really, really, really enjoyed working with him.
What other was another any other props from that movie, that series of movies that like really stuck out?
Yes, there was a after the second one. No, after the first one, when we started doing the second one, I needed to find the penis pump.
Okay.
The world famous penis pump.
Yeah.
And they had. We went through all the inventory from the first one, and it wasn't there. And so I called up New Line, and I think we looked and we couldn't find it. But then they somehow in the accounting department or something found a thing that they had, because that movie was not supposed to be the movie that it was. It wasn't supposed to be this giant blockbuster.
Oh, I see.
You know, it was a kind of a cheap
Right.
slapstick movie.
I see.
And so they had the penis pump, and they gifted it to this guy who was the head of something, instead of broadcasting at DirecTV,
Crazy.
something like that.
Like as a gag gift or something? Or
No.
he wanted it?
No, they gave it to him as a thank you for something that they did.
What an odd gift.
And so we needed it for the second one.
Right.
So that's how I found out where it was. It was with this guy.
You had to contact the guy.
And so I called the guy and I said, "Hey, here's the deal, you know, and I need to get that back. I'll give it back to you, but I got to have it for this thing because we're going to make a double
Right.
and all this stuff, and it's got to be exactly the same and everything." He says, "Okay, fine." He goes, "On one condition, that you send me, when you return it, you send me a certificate of authenticity."
I see.
And I said, "Absolutely." And so he sent the thing, and we made a double, and and we shot it and all the stuff and everything. And at the end of the show, I had to send it back to the guy, and the guy was real. So it was with DirecTV. I boxed it all up and sent it back, and I put a great big label on there with his name and all of this stuff, and I put on a caution sign on it. It said, contains one penis pump, size small. And so and so I sent it by UPS or however it got there. And then the phone rings one day, and he goes, "Very funny." I said, "I thought you'd like that, you know." But then they said, he said, I'll hook you up for this with DirecTV. I said, "Oh, great."
Wow.
And so,
In the early days.
the very, very early days.
Right.
And he said, this guy called and said, "I'm calling to get you set up with your DirecTV." And I said, "Okay." And he goes, "Do you have your equipment yet?" And I'm like, "No, I don't have any equipment." And this is just sounding like,
Right. A pain in the ass.
yeah. And the guy goes, "Well, how about tomorrow?" And I said, "All right." And so somebody shows up, puts all the stuff together and everything,
Right.
puts the disc on my roof and all that stuff, and it works fine and everything. And I called the guy to thank him, and he said, what menus are you getting and everything?" And he goes, "Oh God, I got to pay for this." And he goes, No. And so I had for, I don't know, 5 years, everything they had,
The whole lineup.
all free.
Wow.
Whoa.
I know.
Nice.
It was pretty
All for
great.
a penis pump. That's
Exactly.
I really like that thing.
That's right.
That's amazing. Well, I have to ask you about Forgetting Sarah Marshall because it's one of my favorite movies.
I think it's my favorite comedy of all time,
Yeah.
actually.
It's very interesting. It is a very, very funny movie.
It's hilarious.
And funny while you were making it, right?
No.
Yeah. No. No, was it
All
a
right, now
nightmare?
this
'Cause
is
you're-
no, not a nightmare, but this would definitely get me in trouble. Anyway,
You're retired. You're good.
Doug DeRose was my assistant,
Okay.
and was for a long time. And on that show, we kept every day we would stand there and watch them shooting this stuff, and think, God, this is never going to
dumb
be
as hell.
released. And it did. It turned out to be a great movie. It's one of my favorite comedies I've ever worked on.
And you think it would just it came up in the edit?
I don't know.
It didn't seem funny on set or anything?
I didn't think so.
Yeah.
But it was, and the final product was really, really funny.
It was really
It
good.
was
I know.
hysterical.
It was
I
wonderful.
never get tired of that movie. Where did you shoot that?
Hawaii.
And did you get to stay there at the resort, or did
Yes.
they put you in the Best
Oh,
Western?
no.
Oh, that's
No,
good.
no. We were at the Turtle Bay, and
Right,
and that's where that was the location.
right. And did
So you were filming there most of the time too. So you just wake up and go down to the lobby and start
Yes.
shooting? That's amazing.
yeah, right.
I love that.
That's good times.
But it was a very, very funny movie. I really enjoyed it.
And,
Did Jason bring his own puppets, or did you need to provide the,
Yeah.
the
Oh, no,
vampire
no.
puppets?
We did all that stuff.
Really? Awesome.
Yeah. What's funny though is that was his just the whole concept of the puppet vampire musical was
Yeah.
just
So
such an
hilarious.
incredibly weird thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, I could see where that would be something where when you listening to it, you think this is so stupid, it's never going to work. But it
was.
worked
A
perfectly.
very, very funny movie. And it was Jonah Hill before I had ever heard of him.
Right. Yeah, for real.
And I'm trying to think of who else was in it.
Oh well, what's his name?
Russell
Russell Brand.
And Kristen Bell.
He
Yeah.
was an unusual character.
No doubt.
And Kristen
He's,
Bell
sti-
was
he's
great.
still an unusual
He's
character.
still an unusual character. Yeah, that's his brand.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Anything? Come on, give me some story from Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Oh.
Anything? Did you shoot any of that back in L.A., like the apartment stuff, or did you?
There were a few things that we shot back in L.A., but the vast majority of it was in Hawaii, which was a weird. Well, I'm not going to tell you this. Hawaiian Teamsters are
Oh,
interesting.
hello. Yes, I know.
All wonderful people.
Yeah.
Yes, very wonderful in every way. No, I know it can be challenging for sure. And yeah, so the actual production, the puppet show at the end, that was all shot in. Well,
All shot in
and who made all your puppets?
boy.
If you could
I
remember,
don't.
That was
I
a
don't
long
remember
time
at
ago.
all. That was a long, long time ago.
Like
I've got the.
18 years ago.
They built these two huge, like a 14 and a 12-foot diameter truss that had all the bats
Oh,
dropped
right.
from
Yes.
them and were bouncing up and
Yeah,
down. And we were shooting in right off of Hollywood Boulevard in a bar, and the all of a sudden we broke for lunch, and I walked out, and there was a guy cutting these big trusses apart because the thing was done and everything, and I said, no, stop.
Hello, dailies.
And oh no, it wasn't that.
Oh no.
No, they just didn't. The effects guys didn't care, and we knew we had gotten it and all
I
that
see.
stuff. But I went and grabbed a driver because it was lunch, and I put the thing, and it's in my garden now. It's a big moon gate.
Nice. I love it. That's a nice thing to keep.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So, how about the bucket list? You worked with
The
some
bucket
pretty
list.
good guys on that one. How was that with Jack?
Jack was a fascinating character.
Yeah.
Really remarkable. Really, really. And Morgan was just a saint.
Right.
He is an incredible man.
Wow.
And I really enjoyed that. And first of all, the term bucket list did not exist before the movie.
Oh, really? They coined the phrase. Really?
They did.
Wow.
And I wrote the very first bucket list.
Wow.
The guy.
It's a claim right there.
That's pretty good.
I can't remember his name. The guy who wrote it. Oh, I can't remember his name at all. Wonderful man, very talented.
Okay.
But he started making a list that he wanted to do, just of things he wanted to do, not before he died, but just a list of things to do.
I see. Right. Like a to-do list?
Yes, sort of.
Right.
And then when he started writing the script, and it became the bucket list. And there's been a lot of, not controversy, but a lot of people will say that no, it existed. It's the what they call the Nelson Mandela effect. Are you familiar with this?
Yes.
People that know that they saw him dead
Right.
and all of these things, like, no, never happened. And same thing with the bucket list. Nobody
There's no reference to it before the movie.
not those terms, bucket list.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that movie was really interesting. So I'm not certain who the other person was, because there are two handwriting styles. One is mine, and the other is, I went around to the production office and had everybody, I had a number of things that they could write, and then we picked one of those. So I did the majority of them, but I did Jack's side, and somebody else did what ended up being Morgan's. Yeah.
Right.
And that was really great fun.
I'll bet.
And so we did it in 2 different colors of ink. So I took I got millions of legal pads, because they want to be wider or shorter, or yellow or white, or red lines, and all of these different varieties. And we ended up finally we got one. It was from Kinko or Office Depot, and it was legal pad number 86532.
Right.
And so I went in and I said, "Give me this 85632." I'll get a whole case of them. Got back, opened them up. They had changed the width of the line.
Oh,
and
man.
so we had to do it again.
Oh, no.
And it was just a pain in the ass. But then ISS graphics, they took the legal pad apart, and just ran it through the Xerox machine.
It made you more.
And made me more. Wow. And made it.
It's
back
crazy.
into,
There's so little things that trip you up sometimes.
Yeah, but that was a really, really, really interesting movie, and I thought Jack was fine.
And Rob Reiner.
I know. I felt so. I feel so fortunate to have worked with Rob. And it was very funny. He called me into his office one day to talk to me about something, and he says, his phone rings, and he goes, "Oh, hold on a second. That's my dad. I got to take this."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Hey, Dad, what's going on?" Guess who I'm talking to? I'm talking to my prop man. Guess what his name is? Eugene McCarthy. No, really, that's his name. It was really, really funny.
That's funny.
It was very funny.
Wow.
And that was, I don't know, that movie was just, I don't know.
And who hired you on that movie?
Boy.
I know it's a long time ago.
That is. Boy, I do not recall.
Right. Well, that's pretty good, though.
But yeah, it was a really very, very interesting movie to make. And the weird thing was that we didn't ever go anywhere. It was all in LA. It was all blue screen and stuff.
It seemed like it was a pretty calm film anyway.
Mm-hmm. And it was fun. I mean, it really was. Those 2 guys were very funny, and I had this watch for Jack.
Mm-hmm.
That was this really cool. I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, it had a flip over.
Oh.
There were 2 faces.
Oh, I see.
So you could be in 2 zones.
Right.
And not have to do it. It was really cool.
That's pretty sweet.
And so we worked out this little, how you always do. They want you to leave the watch in their dressing
trailer,
room,
right?
Yeah.
or they want to give it to their assistant or
Right.
whatever, and you just have a protocol that where the watch
Right.
always goes. And so then he comes one day, and the assistant comes up, and I'm, "Where's the watch?" He goes, "Oh, fuck. Jack left it at home last night. I saw it on the table
Right.
this morning when I woke him up." And I'm like, "Okay, well, I've got a double, but we need that one back." Because that was a promo, and it was a
Right.
big watch. And the next day, I'm like, "So where's the watch?" He goes, "Oh, I forgot it. I'm sorry."
Yike.
And this went on for like a week and a half. And I'm like, "Oh, man, that watch is gone."
Yeah.
And they just don't want to say.
Right.
And so I'm like, "Oh, God, what am I going to do?" And I had, as soon as I went to the promo place and got all these watches. And as I was leaving, I realized I had $150,000 worth of watches in my hand.
Right.
And so I went to the producer and I said, "I want a letter from Warner Brothers saying that if anything happens to any of these watches, it's
Yeah.
not my fault."
Right.
And he said, "I think that's absolutely, positively reasonable." And they did it, and it was great.
Nice.
And so, but anyway, so this watch goes missing for a few days, or a week maybe even.
Right.
And I'm really getting nervous about it. And so I'm standing there on the set one day, and Jack comes walking in, and he is on a mission. He is just marching, which he didn't do a lot of.
Right. He did a lot of moseying.
And he marches to me across the stage. And I'm like, "Oh, fuck, what's this?"
Right.
And he comes over and he grabs me by the arm with an extremely strong grip for a man of his age.
Right.
And he drags me behind the set wall. And I'm like, "What the
Holy
fuck?"
shit.
He goes, "I found that watch." And I said, "Where was it?" And he goes, "It fell off my wrist. It was under the seat of the car."
Wow.
And we had the car detailed yesterday.
Wow. And they found it.
No, they didn't.
Oh. Wait.
He said that would have been the biggest tip that guy ever got in his life. I know. I just could not believe it. But he grabbed my arm, and I thought he was going to punch me.
Yeah.
But he didn't.
That's good.
I know.
I always hate when they come over and they're like, "Oh, the actors want their watch and glasses set in their dressing room." It's like,
Yeah. That's how
we got to get even more now because we know one of those is going to walk off at least.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's true.
I did a show where the female lead, she wanted to look at sunglasses. I'm like, okay, great. So I sent 16 pair of sunglasses to her trailer. And so she comes out and she's got a pair of sunglasses on. I'm like, great. She picked one. Excellent. She goes to set, I'm like, said to her sister, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to need the rest of those back. And she's like, yeah, well, she wants to just hang on to them because she might want to wear a different one in a different costume. I'm like, okay. So that went on for the whole show. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of the show, I went back to her trailer to get those sunglasses, and her sister was like, yeah, she has an agreement with the production that she gets to keep all of her costumes. I'm like, but she didn't wear all those glasses.
Yeah.
She goes, well, but she's keeping them. So I went to the producers. I'm like, well, she wanted to keep them. I'm like, fine. I'm like, okay, great, bye.
Yeah.
16 pair of glasses.
Yeah, it's going to
Oh my
be a
gosh.
few grand for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. But as you say, it's not my money.
Yeah.
If they want to give them to her, great. And that's what I would say. It's like if Jack wants to watch, who's going to tell
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson he can't have the watch?
That's another thing that De Niro did. He was, when we were trying to find his, for Fockers, his glasses.
Yeah,
And
right.
so I sat on the ground one day, and they set up a camera, and I would give him a pair, and he'd put them on, and we just rotated them all around.
Right.
And put 20 glasses on him in about 5 minutes, and it was just great. So he says, okay, we'll get this one. And so we get that one. I get 5 pair. Then a few days later, he comes up and we're still not shooting yet. He goes, I think I'm gonna use the ones that we had in this first movie instead. And I said, okay, that's fine. I'll figure out what those are. And he goes, oh no, don't worry about it. They're already on their way.
One pair. Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh.
He has all of his everything he's ever touched or worn in a movie
Wow.
is in a warehouse, and it's not boxed up and everything. It is
Displayed.
displayed, the
Wow.
costumes and everything, and then on the top is the props he had in it and all this stuff. And he said, I've already called the guy, and they'll be here in the morning.
Whoa.
Wow.
I know, it was
Amazing.
He was very, very buttoned up.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And again, just really, really nice, funny guy.
That's great. It's good to hear because he's such a good actor, too.
He is. He is.
Wow. Amazing. So I have to, well, we should talk about Mortal Kombat, right?
Sure.
Going
my
back.
God, did I do all of these movies?
I know,
Yeah.
right?
Mortal Kombat was remarkable.
Yeah. Tell what made it remarkable.
It was such a huge movie. We had a number. We shot a big scene that was in a graveyard of all of the guys who had been killed during Mortal Kombat.
Okay.
In the
Right.
context of the show, and we shot it at a hangar at Santa Monica Airport.
Okay.
Oh.
And first of all, they had there was this big, they had all these huge statues and all this stuff of the people, and they had a big Ritter in the end, and they had gone and gotten all these leaves and stuff and were throwing them in, and it's blowing all over the place. Well, it was all full of pollen and mold and all kinds of
Shit
stuff.
you
And
can't do today.
everybody in the crew was just
Sick as a dog.
for days. But it was really funny. We had this, we were shooting in this hangar, and across the road was another hangar. And when we were getting ready to go to lunch, the ADs got everybody together and said, all right, listen, everybody, when you're going to lunch, do not look to the hangar on the right. It was Tom Cruise's hangar where his fancy little acrobatic aircraft was.
I see.
And
Don't look.
they said that some people who had been going back and forth had been looking, and they didn't care, and Mr. Cruise didn't care for that, which I never met him.
Interesting.
But it was very interesting. And so then we went to lunch and all this stuff, and we came back, and in the meantime, he had found out that we were shooting Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
And so he came over to see if he could come in. He wanted to come in and see the set. The PA didn't recognize him and said, no, you can't come in. Nobody coming in. I mean, not to be a dick, but he didn't recognize him. So
That's pretty funny. So he never got in, or he just bypassed him?
No, he never came.
Wow.
I think he
went home.
He went home.
I love that.
Okay. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Oh, I worked with him one day on Austin 3. No, I don't know, 2 or 3. I don't remember. But he seemed like a very nice guy. There was a part where there was something he was going to be hanging from, and he just, from standing there flat-footed, just levitated himself and grabbed it. I mean, I couldn't have jumped that high on a trampoline.
Yeah. Pretty athletic dude.
Very, very athletic
Yeah.
fella. And he,
I've never heard anything bad about him or anybody.
no, he seemed like a very nice, reasonable person to me.
Nice. I have to mention Iron Maze, the movie nobody's ever seen. Because that's where Eugene and I met many years ago back in Pittsburgh. It was not a good movie.
It was not a good movie. No, it was not. It was not. Although, interestingly enough, I did 2 Japanese movies.
After that or before that?
I did. Iron Maze was one.
Right.
The other one was I can't remember the name of it now. East Meets West. It was a Japanese director who wanted to make a movie for all of his friends on his 80th birthday.
Wow.
And he came up with this deal of some Japanese samurai guys came to the United States in the Wild West time looking for this box of gold coins and all this stuff.
All right.
And Jeffrey Johnson did that with me,
Nice.
and we had a wonderful time. And that was back in the days of the Dollar Day.
Oh, right. Right. They still do
And-
Dollar Day, but it's like
$5 Fridays.
Yes, and we would always, Jeff and I would run commercials for Dollar Day on the walkies.
Okay.
Hey Jeff, it's Dollar Day. Everybody, if you're not in it, you can't win it. And and find the ADs and be like, shut up.
Right. Go to Channel 4. Mm-hmm. That's funny.
And
So did you get that one because you did Iron Maze, you think?
no,
No, it just happened to
no,
be.
not at all. I don't know how I got that one.
Right.
Until-
And the other reason I bring this up is because this was a Japanese American production, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was so we had a U.S. crew, and then there was a Japanese crew
Mm-hmm.
for all of the keys, which made it hysterical, and we had a lot of
Mm-hmm.
fun on it. And I just have to say, and you know about this because I sent it to you, but we had a PA on this show. His name was Jay, and Jay had been in the film industry a very short amount of time. And he was actually leaving the film industry to go do something else. He was going to go to school or something. I forgot. I can't remember what it was. So on his last day on the show, he brought his video camera, and he started in the morning at the catering truck and shot all day long of the production, going around, introducing everybody to the camera, including Bridget Fonda and the actors and all of the Japanese people, and then filmed what we were filming. And he put together this documentary, like in the camera. He didn't edit anything. It's all in camera. And then at the end, he made VHS copies of it and handed it out to different members of the crew. I don't know how many people got one, but I had one for years. And then when digital came around, I digitized it, and I put it up on YouTube. And the thing about it is that it is a great little excerpt of what it was like in the early 90s on a film set.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like amazing how, like, what a great slice of life it turned out to be. So if you're on YouTube, you can look it up. It's called Jay's Last Day. And
it was wonderful.
and it's out there. It's like 45 minutes long, and it's, it's super grainy because, of course, the quality of VHS back then was not good. But I actually told my producer about it on the show I'm on now, and she actually watched it. And she goes, "Oh my God, it's amazing!"
It is a weird little time capsule, isn't it?
It is. It's really, and Eugene's all over it too. So,
Well, and I remember we worked in that steel mill.
Yes.
And we had the company bought coveralls for everybody
Yes.
and gas masks
gas
all that
masks,
stuff.
yeah.
And they would take all the coveralls every night and wash them and stuff.
it was
and
awful, and I think that's where I got my asthma from. Was from that show because
It was awful.
Well, it was a defunct steel mill in Pittsburgh, and we were shooting in the summer, and they would give you these masks to wear, and if you wore the mask, you couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
So but then at the same time, you take your mask off, and the sunlights would come through the holes in the building, and you could see all the particles, the silver in the air of all the steel. So we breathed all that. It was fun.
And I shot again on another show on that very place
Really?
where they had where that mill had been, which was the what is it, the something works,
Oh, right.
Braddock. And it was now on the exact same place. It was now a light industrial park.
Oh, wow.
It was weird.
I see. They refurbished
Yep.
it into something else. What? Oh, amazing. Mm-hmm. So you got to shoot in the Berg twice.
And I'm trying to think of. Oh, the other one was the Joey Coyle.
Oh,
Have you seen this movie?
no, I know the name though.
It really, really interesting story about a true story about a guy who was he was kind of a not a ne'er-do-well, but he just was kind of this, I don't know, kind of screwed up guy and everything. He was a longshoreman. Him and all of his buddies are driving to work one day. They see something in the road. They get out. It's a cart with, I think, $3.6 million
Nice.
in it that had fallen out of an armored car. It's a true story.
Right.
And him and his buddies put it in the back of the car.
I remember this story.
And instead of going and burying it for 100 years or something, he started going and taking all his buddies to dinner and all this stuff. And,
living a life.
And then he finally found somebody to wash all the money, but he didn't make it. And he found this mob guy to wash all the money, but he didn't make it clear what he was going to do. And so the guy took the $2.6 million and gave him half, so $1.3 million in change. Because the guy, he was the mafia guy that was the head of all the vending machine.
Oh my God, that's
concession.
hysterical. What a funny...
And it was a true story, though.
Wow. I'll have to check that out. It sounds hysterical. That's so funny. We're already at 90 minutes.
Yeah.
We just blew through that like it was nothing.
Oh my.
There's so much more to talk about, but I guess we got to wrap
Well, in
it
2
up.
more years, we'll get back together.
All right.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. We'll have to do the part
I look
2.
forward to it. Thank you so much. It's been really, really interesting thinking about all of these old shows.
Yeah, well, you did a lot of great films for sure.
I did a lot of turkeys, too.
Well, haven't we all? They all can't be great,
Yeah.
you know. We can't all have a resume like Nancy Haig.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, well, Eugene, I hope you're enjoying
I am.
retirement.
I am. I am enjoying it very much. It took me a while to
Gear down.
to enjoy it. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's just really weird. I didn't know. Because my whole thought, the way I thought about show business and the reason I loved it so much is because it was this big, oily, smoky machine. And I was this one little cog in the whole thing. And when I retired, the machine went away and I was just a little cog standing there by myself.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
it's a
it
real
was-
thing.
It is such a incredibly enmeshed society
Yes,
of doing that.
absolutely.
It's hard to. But
No.
I'm doing much better now, thanks.
Yeah, and that's good. We really need to do a podcast about that at some point because it's a real thing. And I know a lot of Doug Fox is retired now, and and a lot of people recently retired because they had to, not because they chose to. And that's kind of I feel bad for people who had the rug pulled out at the on the 1 yard line. Because again, I really think for me, because of COVID and because of the strike, I had a taste of retirement, and it made me realize, I got to get in a mind space for retirement. I can't just step off the cliff. Okay,
That's perilous.
Yeah. So we need to talk about that at some point. We'll
I
have you
agree.
back.
All right.
We'll do the retirement podcast.
Excellent. No, it's still. I'm still just now getting to be really comfortable doing it. Although I still, and my wife bugs me about it no end. I'm always 30 minutes early. Because if you're not
good.
30 minutes early, you're
You're
late.
late. That's right. That's right. That's funny. I love that. Very good. All right. Well, Eugene, again, thank you so much for coming
Oh,
out.
my pleasure. Thanks so
thank
much
you.
for
Always
having me.
good to see you.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
Of course. And thank you all for tuning into another episode of Prop Talk, the official podcast of the Property Masters Guild, brought to you by real working and retired prop masters. If this is your first time listening, please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment wherever you're hearing this. If you would like to know more information on the Property Masters Guild or have any questions for us here at Prop Talk, be sure to go to propertymastersguild.org. We're also on Instagram @_the PMG and all of their socials. I'm Mikey Trudel. Until next week.
See ya.